How's it going, guys? Your average student here. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about whether or not you should buy a MacBook Pro or a Mac period for college. So as you guys might have seen in my last video, I talked about the gaming performance of the MacBook Pro. Of course, I'm talking about the 2016 15-inch MacBook Pro. It was definitely a huge 3D performance bump from last year's model. But some of you may not be into gaming, and some of you just want something for productivity use. I've been using the MacBook Pro for the better part of 3 to 4 months, and I've actually grown to really love the computer. I went from a MacBook Air, and the performance bump was definitely noticeable. Now, by no means was the MacBook Air a slow computer. It worked fine. It just didn't have the capabilities that I needed and wanted at the time. So I do a lot of video editing. I do some gaming every now and then on the go, on my Mac, or on boot camp. So I definitely wanted something that could suit my needs there. But something about the Mac ecosystem as a whole is that there's just a ton of productivity apps. Not only can you still get the Microsoft productivity apps such as Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, etc. All Macs come preloaded with software such as Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. Now those are all pretty much Apple's take on Word and PowerPoint, etc. And although to me, I prefer Microsoft's version, in case you cannot afford to buy the Microsoft suite of apps, you already definitely have something you can use. So that's one thing I really love. 2, Apple just syncs very well with all the other devices. So if at any point I forget that I have some notes on my Mac, I have a document saved that I need to go over in class, I can just check on my iPhone, I can pull up iCloud Drive, and I'd have the file right there available. I can access all the files available from my Mac on my iPhone, etc. So that kind of continuity in between the ecosystem of all the Apple devices just makes it a very compelling thing to use. So if you already have an iPad, if you already have an iPhone, getting another Apple device such as an Apple computer or a Mac, it really works well together. The third reason you would want to consider getting a Mac for college is just the reliability of them. Now in all my classes, I've seen students with MacBook Pros from 5+ years ago. I had my MacBook Air for 4 years before I traded in to get my MacBook Pro, and it still worked fine. Apple really works to make sure that all of their products work seamlessly with the software. I never had to worry about ever getting viruses. I never had to worry about it ever crashing. What are you going to do with your computer? If you're trying to get a new computer for college, you're definitely going to want to take your major into consideration. A lot of engineering students tend to use 3D modeling apps. They tend to use computing software. They tend to use certain apps. They may not even be available for Mac, although you can use Boot Camp to boot Windows on your Mac and then access the software. You're definitely going to want something with a bit more performance to be able to run the 3D applications. For that, I would definitely recommend getting a MacBook Pro if you're going to go with Mac. It may be hard to give away $1,500+ just to get a MacBook Pro when you could get a very capable Windows laptop for about $500-600. But again, you're definitely paying an Apple premium to have the continuity across devices, to have the reliability, to have pretty much just the whole Apple experience. I've been using Mac OS and I love it. If you're trying to get a computer for note-taking, if you're trying to get a computer for portability, for reliability, and a good price, I'd definitely probably go with the regular MacBook. I'd definitely go with the MacBook or the MacBook Air, and they're your cheapest options. And plus, if you're a college student, you get educational discounts at the Apple Store. So that means you can get about like $100 to $200 off of a regular MacBook or MacBook Air, and you can even get up to $200, $300 on a MacBook Pro off. So ultimately, if you're going to get a Mac, the type of Mac that you want is going to depend on you and pretty much what you plan on doing with it. Are you going to do a lot of productivity? Are you going to do some creative work on your Mac, such as photo editing or video editing? You're definitely going to want the bit of extra horsepower to do so. And for that, I would go with a MacBook Pro. Are you going to use your computer for simple media consumption and some productivity apps such as Word or PowerPoint? In that case, I would just go with either a MacBook or a MacBook Air. Now, if you can definitely shell out a bit more cash, I'd bump it up to at least the 13-inch MacBook Pro. Without the touch bar is fine. To be honest, you don't need the touch bar. But again, it's something you guys have to ask yourselves. I just kind of want to lay out all the various reasons why you would want to get a Mac. The availability of productivity apps is great. All of the bundled Apple software makes it convenient and ready to use right out the box. And the reliability and not having to ever worry about getting a virus makes it all a very great choice. So that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Leave a like if you like this. Subscribe, please, stay tuned. And I'll see you guys in the next one.